What if I told you that in one of the world's oldest deserts, there's a daily performance where mountains of sand cast shadows so precise, they act like a cosmic clock. And if you know how to read them, they can tell you secrets about time itself. Picture this, you're standing at the edge of Sossusvlei, a vast clay pan surrounded by some of the tallest sand dunes on Earth. The sun is just beginning to rise. The sky shifts from deep indigo to soft orange, and as the first rays touch the crest of a dune named Big Daddy, something extraordinary happens. A shadow begins to stretch, long, sharp, and impossibly dark, creeping down the dune's western face like a slow-moving tide. It doesn't just look dramatic. It's alive, it's breathing. And it's telling a story written in light and geometry, one that's been repeating for over 5 million years. But these aren't just ordinary shadows. They're dynamic, evolving forms that change with every minute of the day, and they hold clues to understanding not just the desert, but the very nature of perception. So how do these shadows form with such razor-sharp clarity? And what can they teach us about the hidden rhythms of the earth? Let's start with the stage itself. Sossusvlei lies in the Namib Desert, one of the oldest and driest places on the planet. Here, the sand isn't just sand. It's fine, red, and rich in iron oxide, blown in over millennia from the Kalahari. The dunes are colossal, some rise over 300 meters high, and their shapes aren't random. They're star dunes, formed by winds blowing from multiple directions, sculpting them into perfect, razor-edged ridges. These sharp crests are what make the shadows so defined. Unlike rounded hills or forested mountains, these dunes have clean, geometric lines, nature's own projection screens. But the real magic begins at sunrise. As the sun climbs, the angle of light changes, and so does the shadow. Early in the morning, shadows stretch for kilometers, darkening entire valleys. By midday, they've shrunk to narrow strips at the base of the dunes. Then, as evening approaches, they stretch again in the opposite direction. This isn't just a visual effect. It's a precise, daily cycle of darkness and light that influences everything in the desert, from temperature to animal behavior. Now, let's go deeper. Because the shadows of Sossusvlei do more than just move, they reveal. First, they act as natural sundials. The length and direction of a shadow can tell you the time of day with surprising accuracy. No watch needed. Ancient travelers may have used similar cues to navigate, but here, the scale is monumental. When the shadow of Dune 45 completely covers its eastern base, you know it's roughly 9 a.m. When the shadow of Big Mama touches the edge of the Vlai, the afternoon heat has begun to fade. It's a clock built into the landscape, one that never needs batteries. Second, these shadows expose the texture of the dunes. Under the harsh midday sun, the dunes can look almost flat, a uniform sea of red. But in the low light of dawn or dusk, shadows accentuate every ripple, every wind-swept curve. You begin to see the dunes not as static piles of sand, but as dynamic sculptures, constantly reshaped by invisible hands. The shadows highlight the tiny ridges and gullies formed by the wind, patterns you'd miss entirely in full light third. And this is where it gets fascinating. The shadows influence the desert's microclimates. The shaded side of a dune can be 10 to 15 degrees cooler than the side in full sun. That temperature difference creates subtle air currents. Cool air sinks along the shadowed slopes, while warm air rises on the sunlit faces. These microbreezes affect how sand moves, where moisture condenses, and even where certain hardy plants and insects survive. The shadow isn't just an absence of light, it's an active participant in the desert's ecosystem. But perhaps the most mesmerizing quality of these shadows is their color. Because of the iron-rich sand and the low angle of the sun, the unshadowed dunes glow with a deep, fiery red. The shadows, by contrast, appear cool, sometimes bluish, sometimes deep violet. This contrast isn't just beautiful. It's a lesson in how our eyes perceive color. The same dune can look dramatically different depending on where the shadow falls. It's a natural demonstration of simultaneous contrast, where two colors side by side change how we see them, and then there's the silence. When you stand in the shadow of a dune like Elim or the iconic Dune 7, the world grows quiet. The air feels still. The usual desert sounds, the whisper of the wind, the scuttle of a beetle, seem to soften. It's as if the shadow brings not just coolness, but calm. A momentary pause in the desert's harsh rhythm. By late afternoon, the performance reaches its peak. The shadows stretch long and lean, connecting dune to dune like dark bridges. The low sun casts a golden glow, making the red sand seem to burn from within. And for a brief window, what photographers call the golden hour, the desert becomes a canvas of extreme contrast. Brilliant light beside profound darkness. Then slowly, the sun dips below the horizon. The shadows merge into one, and the desert is swallowed by the deep blue of twilight. What's left is the memory of that daily dance, a cycle of darkness and light that has played out for millions of years. These shadows are not permanent. They come and go with the sun. But in their temporary nature, they remind us of the constancy of change. They show us that even in what seems like an empty, timeless landscape, there is motion. There is rhythm. There is a silent, elegant intelligence written in light and sand. And maybe that's the real secret of Sossusvlei's shadows. They teach us to see the invisible, the passage of time, the flow of wind, the subtle balance of an ecosystem, all through the simple, stunning interplay of dark and light. Have you ever witnessed a natural phenomenon that felt like it was hiding a deeper story? Share your experience in the comments, and if you want to explore more of Earth's hidden wonders, subscribe to Wonder Explorer.